I think we mark a new day for the beginning of our city. After nearly a decade of crises and cutbacks, we finally have a chance to look ahead, begin planning for a brighter future.
San Diego's new mayor begins his term. Hello, I'm Dwayne Brown. Tonight on KPBS Evening Edition, a look at what's ahead for the new liberal-leaning city council.
And I'm Peggy Pico. Also ahead, $14 million in cuts to San Diego's court system are underway. Tips on how to navigate through the system as courts close. And demolition continues as Horton Plaza Park expands. We'll take a look at the past, present, and future of downtown.
What one of the oldest known gorillas in captivity can teach us about life and aging. KPBS Evening Edition starts now.
KPBS Evening Edition is made possible by Joan and Irwin Jacobs and by
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. It's an historic day for San Diego city government. Former Congressman Bob Filner was sworn in as mayor. He's the first Democratic mayor in decades. Filner takes over with a majority of Democrats on the council as well. KPBS Metro reporter Katie Orr tells us what we can expect from the new administration.
And repeat after me. I, please state your name,
Bob Filner,
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend
the
Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of
the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Congratulations, Mayor Filner.
Thank you, Minister.
Bob Filner was the man of the hour. He strode on stage, beaming, surrounded by his family as people clapped and cheered. This was Filner's payoff after more than a year of campaigning. After taking the oath of office, Filner became the city's 35th mayor and ushered in a more liberal government than the city's seen in years.
Today's inauguration here in Balboa Park leaves control of San Diego's government largely in the hands of Democrats. Whether or not you think that's a good thing likely depends on your political views. But one-party dominance may not automatically mean a smooth road for the new mayor at City Hall.
Filner's going to have to learn how to cooperate and horse trade with the council, something he hasn't had to do as much of on Capitol Hill. He'll have to do a lot more of at 202C Street.
It's going to be a long night.
In fact, Filner ran into some roadblocks even before he was sworn in. His proposal to take money from a city reserve fund and put it toward public safety was met with resistance by newly elected Council President Todd Gloria, a Democrat and Filner supporter.
I state your name. I, Todd Gloria.
And that's likely reassuring for San Diego County Republican Party Chair Tony Krivaric. He says voters missed a great opportunity to continue financial reform in the city when they elected Filner. And he's concerned labor unions will regain a lot of the power they've lost over the years.
Streets, infrastructure, services, libraries, all that's been allowed to atrophy, and we're just on our way back on reform. We passed Proposition B. We have now a mayor who begrudgingly says he'll implement Proposition B, which is a key portion of continuing down the path of reform. We'll see if he actually does that. We've already seen him starting to dole out money that's not available.
But where Krivaric sees a bleak future, labor leader Lorena Gonzalez sees tremendous potential. She says the San Diego Imperial County's Labor Council has been working for 2 years on the San Diego city elections. In that time, she says union members fanned out across communities, talked with their friends and neighbors, and worked to turn out voters, especially in Democratic strongholds south of Interstate 8. Gonzalez says now that they've scored a victory, she wants to make sure those voters are heard at City Hall.
We just want to make sure that those people who voted and really changed San Diego through their actions get to reap that. So when we talk about neighborhoods, that those neighborhoods are empowered, that it's not a one-shot deal. You know, it's not they've elected a Democrat, everything's going to be okay. It's not, because those communities have to continue to organize, continue to demand change, so that there's some equity in the city.
Filner seems largely in line with Gonzalez's view. He received major financial support from labor during the campaign. And Luna says Filner has made it clear the city's priorities are going to shift now that he's in charge.
Bob Filner is already looking to open up an office in Tijuana because he wants to reciprocate with Tijuana having an office in San Diego. We're a major border town. He's going to spend less time thinking about downtown, more time thinking about the neighborhoods. Pretty much write off any chance of a Chargers stadium. He'll do with employees unions different than a Mayor Carl DeMaio would have done.
Still, Luna says no mayor gets everything he wants. And as a reconfigured city council tries to jockey for power of its own, Luna says we can expect a lot of the standard bickering we get no matter who's in charge. Katie Orr, KPBS News.
Democrats also hold a supermajority in the state legislature. New lawmakers were sworn in today in Sacramento. The Democratic supermajority means Republican votes won't be needed for tax increases or to put measures on the ballot. New term limits are also in effect. A lawmaker can only serve 12 years total, and they're all taking a 5% pay cut, effective immediately. Mexico has a new president tonight. Enrique Peña Nieto was sworn in Saturday, vowing to restore peace and security. It was anything but peaceful outside the inauguration, though. Police clashed with protesters opposed to the return of the PRI, Mexico's former ruling party. Some of the protesters claim Peña Nieto bought votes. Nearly 80 people were injured in the demonstration. A Coast Guard petty officer died early Sunday morning after his vessel was rammed by a panga boat off the Ventura County coast. KPBS reporter Claire Trageser joins us from the News Center with more on this story. Claire, tell us exactly what happened.
A U.S. Coast Guard vessel was dispatched to investigate a small boat that was floating in the middle of the night without lights on. Coast Guard officer Terrell Horn and another Coast Guardsman approached in a small inflatable boat. The panga then rammed into the Coast Guard boat, sending both men overboard. Horn suffered a traumatic head injury and was rushed to shore, but paramedics declared him dead at around 2:20 a.m.
And why was the Coast Guard investigating this panga boat in the first place?
Well, first of all, because it was in the ocean in the middle of the night without lights on, which made it seem like it was trying to avoid detection. Also because it was a panga boat, a small, open fishing boat that is often used to smuggle illegal immigrants or drugs. The Coast Guard in San Diego is continually having run-ins with this type of boat, either finding them abandoned on beaches here or stopping them in the ocean.
And what happened to the people on the panga boat?
Well, using a helicopter and a larger boat stationed in Los Angeles, the Coast Guard found the panga and stopped it. They took the two men on board into custody. The men, who are Mexican nationals, were charged this afternoon with killing Horn.
KPBS reporter Claire Trageser. Some high-level support tonight for giving a Medal of Honor to fallen Marine Sergeant Rafael Peralta. Navy Secretary Ray Mobus has joined those calling to upgrade Peralta's Navy Cross. He died in 2004 in Iraq. Witnesses say he smothered a grenade with his body, but the Defense Department ruled he was unconscious at the time, making him ineligible for the nation's highest military honor. San Diego Congressman Duncan Hunter found evidence disputing the ruling. The decision now rests with Defense Secretary Leon Panetta. More talk, but no agreement in a week-old strike at the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. 10 terminals have been shut down because of the walkout by clerical workers, while dock workers are refusing to cross the picket line. Ships are getting rerouted to other ports, while none have come to San Diego so far. Some have actually traveled south to Mexico. U.S. Supreme Court is taking more time to consider a legal challenge to Proposition 8, California's ban on same-sex marriage. At issue is an appeals court ruling declaring the ban unconstitutional. Prop 8 is one of several same-sex marriage cases being considered by the justices. They have to decide whether they will hear formal arguments. If they reject the Prop 8 case, the appeals court ruling against the ban will stand. San Diego family court judges and attorneys continue to navigate around massive budget cuts. Peggy Pico is talking about alternative options for family court cases.
Since summer, we've been reporting on the $500 million budget cuts in California courts. In San Diego, that translates to roughly $14 million less for local courts, and it results in about a 21% loss to local civil and family courts. Joining me with ideas on how to work through these cuts is family law attorney Sean Weber with the Collaborative Family Law Group in San Diego. Sean, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
What types of cuts in family, when we're talking about family law and family courts, what things are going to be impacted by these cuts?
Well, the first thing that's happening is there's less personnel. We have fewer family court services counselors for custody matters for people to meet with, which is making things take longer. We also have a situation where the court reporters are not going to be available for all hearings. For matters that are longer than 40 minutes, there won't be a court reporter provided. We have to provide that ourselves.
We're going to come back to the court reporters, but I wanted to ask you specifically when it comes to family law, some people would think of like domestic abuse or restraining orders. Are those going to be impacted, or do they still rise to the top?
They still rise to the top because of the importance of them, and there are statutory requirements that force those to the top as well, especially the domestic violence issues. But everything will be impacted because the calendar will be impacted, and there's less personnel to push paperwork through the court system.
And there's actually some courts I know closed, I think up in San Marcos, or have been moved. But let's talk about those court reporters. Now, the courts are no longer providing that, which means clients have to pay for their court reporters if they want them. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And how would that impact the outcome of a trial?
Well, as lawyers, we spend a lot of time trying to build a record. In the case, you hear attorneys say, for the record this and for the record that. That's no longer going to be available if you don't have a court reporter in the courtroom. Now, you can bring your own, but you do have to pay for that, and there's nothing that poorer clients could do to get a waiver or anything like that. It's just they're going to have to come up with their own court reporter.
Is there concern that that could kind of skew the justice system a little bit toward the rich? You could afford this reporter because you can reference back for it, or is it something that you think attorneys will just work around a little bit?
Well, there is that concern. I mean, attorneys will work around it, but you know, people that are going through the court system, they're looking at having higher costs, and that's why we suggest that people look for out-of-court options like collaborative divorce is an option.
Several San Diego attorneys and judges have been meeting to try to come up with solutions and ideas. What have you heard? What's sort of the buzz around town?
Well, we've heard that we're looking for options to increase our ability to volunteer with the court system. The attorneys are we're realizing that this is going to be something that we're going to have to deal with, and the attorneys are trying their best to cooperate with the court system and make this work for us.
Right. I believe this is going to happen for about 3 years, right? This sort of trimming and cutting. What alternatives are there out there for clients, for families, for people who need to work through something through the courts?
Well, an alternative to going to court is to choose a no-court option, like collaborative divorce or mediation, things like that can keep you out of court. Collaborative divorce is great because your attorneys actually sign an agreement that says that we're never going to go to the court. We're not going to cross the threshold of the courtroom, and we're going to resolve this in a way that's better for the family.
And we've heard of mediation, but there's also settling out of court. And you've mentioned before that you think that settling out of court you feel that's your job, especially in family law. Tell us about that.
Well, if I have a case that's actually gone to trial, I feel in some ways that I've failed. And I'm very happy to push my clients towards options like mediation and collaborative divorce because it was already difficult for parties going through the family court system. Now it looks like it's going to be worse. It's going to be more difficult to get the justice that they may be looking for. And if they want to be heard, you know, an out-of-court option may be actually better.
So try to settle out of court. Your takeaway message during these next 3 years of budget trimming and changes in the courts for families here in San Diego?
Ask your attorney. Does he offer a collaborative divorce? Does he offer a mediation or a no-court option? If he doesn't, you need to ask him why.
All right. We'll have more information on our website, kpbs.org. Family law attorney Sean Weber, thanks so much for talking with us.
Thank you.
Lots of cheering in Tijuana last night as the city's long shot won Mexico's top soccer title. The Chalos clinched the championship in 2 games. What a turnaround. A year ago, the team was at the bottom of its soccer league. The Chargers aren't at the bottom of the NFL, but the coach and the players are frustrated after their 4th straight loss. The Chargers fell to the Cincinnati Bengals 20-13.
It's unfortunate. It's just too bad we can't find a way to win the game in the 4th quarter. But it's not because of lack of preparation on the coach's part. It's not lack of preparation on the players' part, and it certainly isn't lack of effort. If I thought it was, we'd change.
We had our opportunities offensively. Anytime you go in a game, you don't score a touchdown, it's hard to win.
The Chargers have just 4 games left in the regular season. On Sunday, they face the Steelers in Pittsburgh. The Holiday Bowl comes to Qualcomm Stadium on the 27th. For the first time, it features a team from the Los Angeles area. UCLA will play Baylor. Holiday Bowl fans last year spent more than $10 million in San Diego. Speaking of money, did you get your state tax refund this year? Nearly 48,000 Californians did not get theirs. That adds up to $14 million. The Franchise Tax Board says the checks were sent back by the post office, usually because of changes of address. If you're one of those who didn't get your refund, you can call the Franchise Tax Board or go online. We have the information, as you can see on the screen. The checks will be sent out as soon as the information is updated, and for next year, you might want to consider using direct deposit to get your refund. Horton Plaza's $14 million makeover began with demolition of the old Robinson's May building last week, but as Peggy Pico explains, the vision for revamping downtown dates back to 1971.
The city recently bought the 1.3-acre area and empty store that faces Broadway to expand Horton Plaza Park, a facelift that will include an amphitheater complete with food and sitting areas, a massive portable movie screen for free movies at night, and a farmers market style area for vendors. But the idea of transforming San Diego's downtown into a people-friendly place began 4 decades ago with former Mayor Pete Wilson. Joining me is with a bit of Horton Plaza's history is growth and development reporter Roger Scholey of the UT San Diego. Thanks so much, Roger, for being here.
Good to be here.
Now, you've lived here all your life. I grew up here as well, but you've seen a lot more changes. Tell us what downtown was like when you were growing up, say about the 50s?
Yeah, when I was in my, I was 10 years old or so in the 50s, and I remember Horton Plaza because that was where I would stop on the way to my piano lessons. And I'd stop up at Horton Plaza on the bus. I'd change buses and go up to Hillcrest where my teacher was. So I didn't think anything of it, that it was a nice place to be and fun, and there was underground restrooms I used, and there was a little information stand that people go in. If you wanted a map or some information, you could go up there. And I would go to a pizza place and get a 15-cent piece of pizza or a bag of nuts or something. So I had a good time in downtown.
You were a kid. There was I think you were saying the stores back then, Marston
right,
or
Walker
other.
Scott, and it was the center of San Diego. It was where everybody did the business, and we all got dressed up. We went downtown to Marston's for the tea room. Banana cream pie or whatever we had in those days.
Yeah, so a good place for kids. But then Horton Plaza became a park back in 1870, and then 100 years later, fast forward to 1971, when Mayor Pete Wilson became the mayor. What happened then? 100 years later, what was it like in the early 1970s?
By the 1970s, what had happened was the Mission Valley Shopping Center, all the other shopping centers in San Diego had opened. They'd sucked all the retail out of downtown. Many businesses had moved their headquarters out. People were living in the suburbs, and so downtown was not as important as it was. And as a result, into this vacuum came X-rated bookstores and seedy bars, and south of Broadway was not a place to be in those days.
Tattoo parlors, I think my
parlors,
mother warned me about those. Pete Wilson talked to KPBS back in a few years ago, 2006, I think, about downtown and the potential he saw in it. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Could have fired a cannon down Broadway at 5 minutes past 5, and the old joke was you wouldn't have hit anybody who wasn't staggering. But it was an undeveloped resource that had enormous potential. I would take people who were visitors to the city up to the top of what tall buildings there were then. They'd look down on grade level parking lots, they'd look down on the tattoo parlors They'd look down on the saloons, and they'd say, well, this is potentially some of the most valuable real estate in North America.
So he was hearing from people about the condition back then, and he was able to parlay this vision into a reality. How was he able to do that?
Well, he did it through redevelopment. And we've had much news in the last year about the end of redevelopment, and what that was taking property taxes and applying them to public improvements in the downtown area. And so they spent $40 million acquiring the Horton Plaza Shopping Center parcel, sold it to the developer Ernest Hahn, and he built the shopping center. Then after that came the trolley, San Diego trolley was built, and then came the Gaslamp Quarter restoration, and then the convention center, and then Petco Park.
But there was a hiccup early on because of Prop 13, right? What happened? It took a while to get that shopping center.
Yeah, from 1972 to 85, it took for the project to be completed. And the reason why Proposition 13 was important was because the property taxes were changed. As you remember, they capped the property taxes, and there was not as much money available to do redevelopment. So there was a huge change in the business plan for Horton Plaza. It took a few years for that to be done, and that's what happened.
Some critics of this new park, and there's been critics all along the way with the gas lamp and with the shopping center, but critics nowadays say, look, this amphitheater is just going to provide more places for homeless in downtown San Diego. What's sort of being done, or if anything, to sort of address that issue?
Well, the genius of the plan is instead of having the police be responsible for the keeping safe and order in the plaza, it'll be Westfield itself. Under this 25-year plan, they're required to provide at least 200 special events a year in the park. And as you said earlier, they're going to have farmers markets, they may have a movie, they may have concerts, they're going to have speakers, all sorts of activities related to the shopping center, the stores, as well as other community groups. So if you go down there at any given time between, I don't know, noon and 10 p.m., there ought to be something going on every single day of the year in Horton Plaza. And if that happens, then the homeless, they may be there, but they will be outnumbered by the other people who are in the area.
And Westfield Shopping Center, who owns the rest of that's attached to the park, they're responsible for
maintaining and managing the park.
I've had experience with them. They will manage it very, very carefully. We are out of time, so Roger Sholey of UT San Diego, thanks so much for
Glad to be here.
I'm Margaret Warner. On the next News Hour, the latest on the negotiations to solve the nation's fiscal crisis. That's Monday on the PBS News Hour.
Gray whales are about to start their annual migration off Baja California, where pregnant females will give birth, but researchers say they expect to see fewer babies this year because of record ice in the Arctic last spring. Icy conditions apparently keep the whales from eating. San Diego's home to one of the oldest gorillas in captivity. Villa was hand-raised at the San Diego Zoo. She's now the matriarch of a family of 5 endangered lowland gorillas at the Safari Park in Escondido. The lunchtime crowd has gathered at the San Diego Safari Park to see the gorillas. We are in for a treat as zookeepers prepare the table and stock the trees with celery, romaine lettuce, and kale, some of the gorillas' favorites. And as if on cue, Winston the silverback male leads the troop to the waiting buffet, followed by Cammy, Mother Kokomo, and Baby Monroe. And trailing behind is Grandma Vila, who recently celebrated her 55th birthday.
Actually, she's the 3rd oldest known gorilla in the world.
Zookeeper Peggy Sexton says Vila is doing pretty well for a senior citizen. In fact, all the gorillas are on diets, so portion control is important to good health. The males can weigh up to 500 pounds, and females like Vila are usually half that size.
She's actually in really good health, and I think, living in Southern California doesn't hurt. What are you doing up there, dude? Yeah, that's unusual. That's very unusual.
Sexton's history with Vila goes back 37 years when she was moved from the San Diego Zoo downtown to the Safari Park. Vila was hand-raised at the zoo and now acts as a surrogate mother to other baby gorillas.
As their behavior is very much learned behavior. There's some animals, their behavior is very much hardwired, but gorillas are like us. They have to learn behavior. They have to learn parenting behavior and social skills.
They spend the day grooming, feeding, and playing. Winston, the 40-year-old male, prefers to pick his food from the trees, not the ground. And his baby boy, Monroe, injects life into the troop. Sexton says they live longer in captivity and actually benefit from human medicine.
It's kind of the opposite of what usually happens. Usually we benefit by animal medicine, but they get very well taken care of.
Gorillas also apparently like to look at themselves in the mirror, and Sexton says they're highly intelligent.
If they have a ding or something on their foot, we can ask them for foot and they will give it to us. They get flu shots just like we do, so we ask them for shoulder and give them an injection.
Sexton says that's why building trust and a rapport with these animals is important, because you don't want them taking it out on you later. By the way, Villa participated in a landmark study on great ape intelligence, providing researchers with a better understanding of this critically endangered species. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.